and then riff on the emails. Hey, we're here. um,
Cool.
right, yeah, it's recording now. We're back at it. This is actually number five, episode number five. So that's really exciting. So we've actually been kind of saving them. They won't know until they actually watch this one. So, but yeah, welcome, number five, the Sauce
Welcome,
Pod.
Cinco.
Cool. Cinco. Today's Friday, man. It feels weird. It feels almost like a Saturday. I think I don't know about you, but it feels like easier than a our Fridays are actually pretty good. Like our Mondays and Fridays are pretty nice, you know what I mean? Like because we made them
Yeah.
like that, you know what I mean? We work on trying to keep them somewhat light, not to have like a mean Monday or a mean Friday. Mean Mondays.
Yeah.
No one wants mean Mondays, man. So,
Right. I feel like
cool,
by like
man.
3 p.m. on Friday, most people are pretty checked out, at least in the corporate world. You're like,
Yes,
after noon on Friday, you're like, done.
exactly, exactly.
So,
Yeah, I can't really speak for the corporate world because I'm somewhat new to it. But for the offshore world, every day is a Monday because you're on a ship, you're on a boat, and it's all the same, because you live there. You know what I mean? So every day is a Monday. You don't have any like it's not oh cool today's Friday like you never say that on a tugboat.
that's wild. Shout out to
Yeah.
you offshore people. I don't know how you do it.
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Shout out to all the homies out there on the tugboats and push boats and all that good stuff. So, and try not to get seasick because I do. Cool, man. So what do we have for the topic today? I know we were talking about the Traction book, um, which is for everybody that doesn't know what it is. It's what this is what it looks like. I got the little thing. Oh, boom. We both got copies, bro. Yeah, and I got these
Yeah.
little colorful tabs. They're all wrinkled and folded in, so they don't actually do anything. But this is definitely has been a really amazing, kind of transition, kind of just learn for you and I. And then like this guy, Gino Wickman, man, he like just has like a whole series of different types of books, and we can get into it. But the other one is a good one that we really loved was the rocket fuel. That one was going off of the integrator versus or the integrator and the visionary position. So, what did you pick up? Like, yeah, well, let's just start there. We can start riffing off of this book. I think it's a really cool topic.
Yeah, I actually haven't read Rocket Fuel yet, but you showed me about the Visionary and the Integrator. We kind of went down that path, learned a
Hmm.
lot about how, two co-founders work together and how special like a integrator versus visionary relationship is. And,
Hmm.
other people that had that kind of like Steve Jobs visionary, Steve
Yep.
Wozniak integrator kind of thing. So I just thought it would be cool to talk about like, because this is definitely my experience working like very closely in a business, where we're both like invested with our time and
Hmm.
resources with a visionary and knowing
Hmm.
that like I'm the integrator type. So I just thought it'd be cool to talk about like, what have you like learned and like what do you like? I would definitely want to like throw props at like what I've learned about visionaries and like how what visionaries really bring to the table, maybe
Hmm.
to shed some light for all the integrators out there that may be
Cool.
working with the visionary or whatever, like, and then you kind of let you go from there or whatever comes to mind for you. But I would say like, well, the biggest thing for me, like as an integrator early on, when knowing that we were, you were the visionary and I was the integrator, I used to get like really frustrated at which sometimes I typically do anyway, just because like an integrator like myself wants to move really fast. Like when it
Hmm.
comes to like the Abe Lincoln like cutting the tree, wanting to like sharpen the axe for like
Yep.
4 hours and then cut for two or whatever. Like I realized that like as much as I do love learning, but I what I love more than sharpening the axe is chopping. Like I'm not so great at sharpening the axe. I just want to fucking grab the axe and chop. And so
Right.
like when it's time to like sharpen the skill sets or like do that, like I love reading, I love learning, But for some reason, I found that was hard when it was like, okay, well, we need to just like take a step back and like figure out the right steps before we just go. And I just wanted to go. So I had to learn to realize like, one, the visionary, you bring like a lot of really valuable resources to the table, which helps us kind of like, okay, here's like everything that we can use like in our toolbox, and let's choose the right ones that work for us, and then let's go, rather than just like, it's definitely important to like pick something and go. And then if we need to reiterate, we can. But like, I think the resources part was like what I stepped back and was like, man, like sometimes I see like a few resources, but the visionary, at least you in particular, were always bringing like new stuff to the table that I had never, that was like super valuable, super helpful. And like, it was, I mean, a lot of that stuff is what we use today. And I just thought that was like super cool. So,
and that's so awesome and funny at the same time that you say that, is because like we are in that regard, the visionary and integrator, I'm like almost the complete opposite, to where it's like almost in a dangerous way, like what is it, perfectionist, or like analysis by paralysis kind of thing, where I will sharpen the knife or axe, I mean, until it's like surgery doctor fucking sharp. But then, I'm holding an extremely sharp knife and I'm just like, cool. All right. That's it. Like, so what you bring to the table, which is amazing, is like, you're like, you allow, and maybe, a lot of integrators, but yeah, you specifically, I think now learning and being able to work together, you allow us to, okay, I see where there is a place that needs to sharpen the axe. It's pretty dull per se, right? But then you're just like, okay, boom, you pull the axe from me. It's like, all right, now it's sharp enough, dude. Let's go. Like it's sharp, bro. Like, like it doesn't have to, because at a certain point, it just, because I can analyze and research all day long. And then it's almost like it gives me this dopamine rush that I'm actually doing something, which I'm not, right? And it's like a dangerous area for me and maybe other visionaries. And so I'd like to, like, obviously, like if you know what you are, like, put it in the comments. Let's have a conversation. And if you don't, there's like a really cool quiz that you can take. And I would probably take it a few times, over time, right? But yeah, you can take this quiz. I'm assuming just go to Traction Visionary Integrator quiz, Google it, and then take the quiz, right? And so you can kind of realize it. But if you read the book, it'll tell you a lot of traits, from Visionary and Integrator, and then you can kind of already self-diagnose yourself, like, oh shit, this one's me, But yeah, the resources is really cool. And I think that's what really, when I learned that, there's this other book, it's the billionaire effect or something like that, and it's orange. It's a really good book, and it was kind of like the first introduction of this whole integrator visionary kind of idea. But they didn't call it that. They called it something else, and they used the example of Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and kind of like that balance, right? And so I think a lot of times, a lot of these agencies or a lot of businesses, have a hard time being able to, find that other person that they're looking for. You know what I mean? I've tried to build, businesses with my other friends, my other visionary friends. Guess what? Nothing gets done. We have all these cool ideas, but nothing gets done. It's like, man, that would be awesome, man. This is $1 million. I'm sure, 10 years ago, I'm sure we all had the Uber idea, you know what I mean? The Netflix idea, the Airbnb idea, but you have to have the integrator. I really honestly think that the integrator is the backbone, and also commonly referred as the COO, right? Really gets in there and gets shit done, you know what I mean? And so you can have ideas all day, you know what I mean? Like it's almost, there was an analogy that I used, and I think it was like, for me, it's like going down a highway and just running and gunning. I'm going fast, right? I'm going super fast. But I'm just like going, like I missed my turn. You know what I mean? I was just like, man, I
Mm.
need to come back around. And so, but I do love the connection between the two. Yeah, that's, I have so much shit going in my head right now. That's probably part of being a visionary, but it's all these ideas. Like you probably have known after the year and a half working together, like always coming up with different ideas, and the integrator helps the visionary kind of filter these ideas. You know what I mean? Filter
Yeah.
the ideas and allow and pulls me down, pulls me out of the clouds, and and a good integrator will tell their visionary partner to tell them no, 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 no. And then when something comes up that's actually legit, they're gonna like say, "Oh, okay, like maybe, like yeah, let's explore that." And then the visionary's gonna respect that. You know what I mean? There's a it's kind of like playing with a dog. You know what I mean? It's like if you never give the dog the ball, like he's just gonna get bored. You know what I mean? He's just never gonna want to fucking do it. You know what I mean? But um, I love that. Yeah, I love the integrator and visionary system. I thought that was that out of everything, that and then the accountability chart was really powerful in this.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll slow down if you wanted to add some stuff to it because like that's just how passionate I am with this book. This book is literally like the business Bible in my opinion.
Yeah, a couple things came up. It was like, for one, like we both took the quiz and it was like, okay, you're the visionary. And for me, like I didn't even fall hard into one or the other. I leaned more towards integrator, but I wasn't specifically one or the other. And so it was like that was our natural dynamic was like, well, if you are a visionary and I'm like kind of in between, but a little bit more integrator, well, then yes, like let me just lean full on into integrator and use that. And I would say like I'm more of like a action oriented, like action bias kind of doer,
Mm-hmm.
more than like but I do like, I live in my head quite a bit. But I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself a visionary. I like to create a vision, but like, typically I'm more of like pretty action oriented. And then the other thing was like, you mentioned, like like the brain is kind of like an idea machine. It's not too much of like a good for remembering things or necessarily people want to have ideas are like kind of a dime a dozen without actually doing something. I was Cody Sanchez like had her interview with the Hermosis, Alex and Layla, and so I was like, man, really looking forward to diving into that one. It was pretty more heavily edited than I wanted. I wanted more of like the raw, at
Sure.
least more of the longer format of it. But like one of the things that she said was like she had designed one of her meetings to they kind of came up with a new meeting style or whatever type of meeting, and it was like a idea or like creation kind of meeting. And like she was like everyone around the table had all these ideas. I mean, they were just coming out of the woodwork, idea after idea after idea. But when it came down to the execution, no one wanted to do it, and it
Yep.
was like, so she
Yep.
started just to ask the people like, okay, great idea, like, are you going to do it? And then that
Yeah.
person would go silent, or like, who's going to do it? Whole room would go
Yep.
silent. Like, no one wants to do it. Everyone just wants
Yep.
to come up with the idea and just have ownership of the idea.
Exactly.
So I thought that was interesting. The third one escaped me now, but it just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a cool,
Cool. Yeah, dude.
dynamic.
It really has. And another one I find I kind of naturally gravitated towards, and I've had my fiance mention it to me, and then another buddy of mine mentioned it to me, but being able to reach out to other people and like just naturally kind of build relationships. I've done
Hmm.
that quite a bit, you know what I mean? With
Yeah.
kind of just my life and just mentorship. I kind of just naturally have done that. And I've been kind of fortunate enough to be able to reach out to some really cool people, and I still talk to some of them. You know what I mean? And so I think
Yeah.
building the
That was the
relationships
other
is
one.
really. Was it cool? See,
That was
there.
the other one. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, being able to build relationships and then hang on to them, and it's a weird thing. Like I'm real strict on boundaries as just like not wanting to get in anybody's way. Like I'm real cautious on like messaging people too much. and like I'm always afraid, like I'm like messing with their time. Hey, just real quick, I know you're super busy, and I'll hurry up, just get to the point, just to ask the question, you know what I mean? And I definitely don't want to like abuse, because I know those people are busy, so I
Right.
don't like doing that.
You
But yeah,
probably
so
notice that and appreciate it.
that's good. Well, yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah, I think that's really cool. But yeah, so that's a good one. The accountability chart. I mean, it's crazy because like if you haven't read it, it's going to blow you away because it starts with like the vision, the VTO, and it's like this little chart here, right? And so each you go through each component to then like have your business, like it's called the EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system. We've kind of switched it up and called the ESOS, the electric sauce operating system. So
Yeah.
kind of funny there, but
So I thought we
so
could talk about like the meeting cadences and how
yeah,
those have gone, but also open the floor up to if there's anything else
sure.
that from the book that you like particularly enjoy or appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. The meetings are great. There's different types of meetings because a lot of people, they don't really know what they're meeting for. Like what is the purpose for a meeting? And a lot of people like maybe don't know, you know what I mean? And so I think that it's called the L10, the level 10 meeting, and essentially like you rate it, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the meeting and make sure that like was it an actual level 10 meeting? Like they call it IDSing, which is what is it? Issues,
Identify
identify,
issues
discuss, identify,
and
discuss,
solve.
and solve. Yep. We got it. We got it. We got it. So
So
IDS.
it gives like a really good cadence for a meeting too. Like what is the
Mhm.
meeting actually supposed to be about? What are you supposed to do during the meeting? So it really leaves no like fluff or like gray area. It's like this is literally like here's your 1 through 10 of the things you're supposed to do. This is how long step
Mhm.
1 takes, how long step 2 takes. This is like step 6, and it's 80% of the meeting. It's where you're like kind of doing that IDS portion. And then you kind of break everything out where it's like,
Mhm.
what are things that you can solve in the next week before you come back to the next L10? And what are things that are longer term issues that just need to be put into like a barrel that you'll come back to on like next quarter or next year. So it helps you like kind of build a long bank of things that you're trying to solve for, and also the shorter term stuff, which is what just reminded me when you're talking about a visionary that like has all these ideas and the integrator like tells them no,
Mhm.
or or what's valid or whatnot. Like that was, it's really like more of like the visionary has a lot of great ideas and none of them are wrong or invalid, but it's, I
Mhm.
think the COO's job or the integrator's job is to say like what's most important now, and
Yes.
like let's take the other ideas and kind of put them in a bank and
Yes.
like try and find out when those become important, but like let's not, it's kind of
Yes.
like almost like a shiny object thing, like yeah, we've got 10 amazing things going on right now, but like what is the one that we need to be
Yes.
doing, and then we'll build the roadmap for the other 9. And I feel like
Man,
that's what
dude.
we're often doing is just like, yeah, just kind of like, okay, cool, let's do that one.
Yeah.
We'll put the other ones on a
Right.
little like
I have to do
sticky
that
note or
because,
something.
dude, yes, like I'll come up with like everything. Like I'll see a bird flying through the sky, and I'm like, idea, and I'm like, and so then I have to reach out to you, and I'm just like, okay, let me get with you on this, marketing plan. Let me get with you on this. Let me make sure it's not crazy or anything. You know what I mean? Like, but
Hmm.
that's cool. You mentioned it's like nothing's like wrong or invalid. They're all like a lot of times, really good ideas. But like, what's the
Yeah.
priority of the company? You know what I mean? What is the main needle mover? And a lot of times, and I think we just mentioned this the other day, was like it's like the sales, like getting clients, right, or your fulfillment. Actually doing the work. It's usually, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's usually kind of between the two, right?
That's the easiest way to think about it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
usually one or the other. Yeah. Um,
That's cool, man.
so yeah.
So there's the meeting cadence, and then just yeah. If you don't have like an operating system, definitely read this one. I know there's the book. I still need to read it. There's the OKRs, the Measure What
Oh yeah.
Matters. The OKRs. I'm not real like I need to read the book, so I'm not real sure. But I know there's a lot of people that run off of OKRs, and so I would like to
Yeah.
understand that and couple that if that works with Traction plus OKRs. Maybe you would have like just the best company ever. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited to see what you pull out of there because it's been a little while since I read that one before Traction. Traction
Okay.
just kind of took over my brain
Took
because we
over.
actually used Traction and we didn't, that one was just, that was the first time I had heard about OKRs and kind of like this methodology of John Doerr. And it was really good. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right or wrong. Honestly, just having one and doing it is what matters more. And,
Yep.
I thought maybe as a last point for Traction, GWC, right people,
Oh.
right seats. I think that's another really good one.
Yep.
And it's a good way of measuring, like, let that person tell you, do they
Yep.
get it, want it, have the
Yeah.
capacity for it.
That one was really solid, and I was going to try and hurry up and magically just jump to the page. Oh, boom, done it.
What color?
Huh? Oh yeah, what color?
So
Let's see. It doesn't have a color, son of a gun. Orange, but it's like way far up. But I did find it. GWC is get it, want it, and the capacity to do it. And so you usually want to talk to people, and you can kind of find out like, something's going on. They're not really doing the job, and it's either these three things. They either they get it, which is like they understand it. They want it. You know what I mean? Like you can get it and have the capacity, but if you don't want to do it, like if you're not in it, like then you're just, you know what I mean? It's just not gonna work, right? And so what the book says is that if it's a no between any of these, just one no, done. And they use like the three strikes you're out. I don't know if they actually say three strikes you're out, but they do give you three tries, and it's pretty lenient. It's like if someone's like not really doing their thing, you come to them and you talk to them about it. You kind of bring this up, get it, want it, capacity to do it, and then you give them a month, one whole month, and then you find out. And if it hasn't changed, you talk to them again, give them another month, and so it's like 3 months before like anything actually is done. And they say a lot, like the book says, after that second month, they kind of tend to do it themselves. Like they either step it up or they actually say, "Hey, this is not for me. I'm out." So
Exactly. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like firing or like,
right.
But it is leaving that role. It's like, okay, well, maybe you get it, maybe you think you want it, and you definitely have the capacity to do it, but for some reason it's not lining up. And so maybe we could like put you in a different role. Like maybe you're strong here, but there's somebody else that's stronger, and we could put you in another capacity that like you can really shine in. But yeah, so it's not necessarily black and white, like, oh, 3 strikes, you're out. It's more like, hey, we're going to like figure out maybe there's other strengths that you have that we could are better served in other areas of the company kind of thing. So
they say it's like, oh, here it is. It's the right person, right seat kind of situation, right? Basically what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's not, like you said, it's not trying to, fire anybody, but it's just like, maybe Sally works better as a designer rather than a builder. That's kind of like one of our examples. You know what I mean? So, just like understanding.
No one likes to fire. Like no one wants to be fired just as much as no one wants to do the act of firing. Like that's not fun for anybody. Just like hiring isn't really fun for anybody. It's like.
Right.
It's just such a long process, right? You think about on both sides of it. You either got to be the one doing the interviews, or you got to be the one filling out applications, where then you show up to the interview and they ask you to say everything that's on the application, stuff like that. It's like, so no one wants to fire you, is what I'm trying to get at. Is like, it's just more about like putting you in a role that you can really shine in. That's really what everyone wants at the end of the day. It's just for people to perform. Just enjoy what you're doing.
Exactly. Enjoy what you're doing. And then and most of the time you enjoy it, and like you're just going to naturally be kind of good at it because you enjoy it so much. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you wake up and you're just like, I get to do this. Like, fuck yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we pretty much sold a few copies of this book, so
You're
we
welcome,
can.
Gino.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're welcome, Gino. So that's cool. Yeah, I really think that's a good book. And then just real quick, the rocket fuel, it mentions it in the book, and it's just all it is really focusing on the integrator and visionary. And so I actually was in mid like book when it came up, and it said rocket fuel, and I was like, oops. So I paused that book, went to, because that was one of the big components that I wanted to figure out first. And then once I figured that out, then we can kind of use the traction operating system to kind of work around, you know, us, you know, and how, you know, I wanted to figure that out first. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, super solid stuff, man.
Yeah, I would say if you're a visionary, try and find yourself an integrator type. And if you're an
Mhm.
integrator who, well, I guess if you're working by yourself, if you're a solo founder or
Yeah.
solopreneur, try and find, if you are the integrator, I would say find someone that's a little bit more visionary style too, because I know one
Mhm.
thing when I worked in a role at a company where I was the only person in that role because it was a new role and it had no oversight, no management, nothing like that. And being an integrator, what I did is I found myself just like head down, doing the same thing every day, which was important, but also not like lifting my head to see like how can this process be improved? Who do I need to communicate and ask the right questions to like get to a better solution faster, more efficiently, just things like that. Like I know as an integrator, it would be really easy to just like put your head down and just run forward. And like you said, maybe like even if you're doing the right things, like sometimes you may get off track or
Yeah.
maybe there's just like a better way too. So I would encourage any integrators to maybe
Yep.
find a little bit more of a visionary type that also, of course, has skin in the game too.
Right.
But yeah,
That's also
so that's pretty
important.
much that's all I got.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's pretty much how to structure a company.
There you go.
Have yeah, yeah. Beep, beep. There we go. Cool. Is there anything else you wanted to go over, or uh, you wanted to have this one on its own? We could keep going. It's
Yeah.
only about 30 minutes. Yeah, we can keep going. Um,
Okay. Either way, yeah, we could probably divide it up post.
okay, sounds good.
The other one was more like riffing on like email flows, basic flows versus like some of the more advanced flows. I was going to
Yeah,
ask you some questions just to kind of like host it.
yeah, cool. Let's do it. And I got one from the one and only Robert Allen. Um,
There we go.
yeah, so I can kind of say what he said.
Yeah, go
In
for
it.
it.
Yeah, so the number one issue I see the cart ban in email flows is okay. Let me slow down. The number one issue. Oh shit! It just disappeared. Hang on. That's weird that it does that. Anyways, here it's back. So the number one issue I see with cart abandoned email flows is being afraid to email more. And so he says, think about it. The person is so close to becoming a customer and potentially a lifelong fan, and you're afraid of what? He said, to send 3 emails in 24 hours? Try it just once, thank me later. So that's a really interesting kind of, thought exercise there is to email them more within that 24 hours because they're so close. So a lot of people would call this to be, really aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, it could depend though, right? I mean, would he recommend this on every single brand? You know what I mean? Or, it kind of depends, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say on like a lower priced item, maybe
Hmm.
like definitely less than $50, but yeah, especially like on a $10 to $20 item,
Yeah.
and then of course anything lower than that, then that makes sense because the purchase cycle or like to get to like click that like purchase button is like a little bit easier of a of a decision than something that's like say $100+
Right.
so yeah, I could see that, and I like that. I mean, it all comes down to like testing what works,
Yeah.
and I like just to hearing different approaches. Yeah, but I like how you said like, I don't think it applies as a blanket statement across every brand for sure. But yeah.
I think thinking about it that way, like, I respect Robert Allen. I know he knows his stuff, but at the same time, it's still stopping, kind of thinking about it. And like you said, I think that's one of the biggest questions to ask with this is the price of the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you, I mean, I'm thinking about it, and it's like if there's like a backpack. I love bags and like luggage for some reason. Like I find new backpacks and stuff. But if there's a $300 backpack and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I like everything about it, and then I constantly get like 2, 3 emails within 24 hours. Is that going to like annoy me, piss me off? Like, am I, and for me, I'm not the one to just, I don't know. I don't really unsubscribe to email lists. I don't know. Maybe I should. I probably clean up my inbox a little bit more, but I don't know. It's hard for me to speak for anybody else, but honestly, I think now that I'm kind of thinking about it, it might work for me even with a higher product, but it just has to be something that I'm really into, that I really, really want. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. I
but I
think
think
that's
it
the
does
point
work.
right there.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I so there are like two things really. I think it's like, I guess the first one would be the are you a first time buyer or a repeat buyer? Because I would treat
Mhm.
both of those situations differently. Because the
Yeah.
repeat buyer is more, um, kind of understanding of your brand and maybe a little bit more bought in because they've used your product. Whereas
Hmm.
a new buyer, like with a new buyer, I would like try to understand what like phase of their buying journey are they in, or did they just find you like on a Google search and just like, oh, I'm just checking it out, it seems like a cool brand but I'm not
Right.
like really ready to buy a $300 backpack? Or are you the person that's like, I've been looking at $300 bags, you're one of a few that I'm considering, and now that
Yeah.
you've been more aggressive with your thing, like, maybe I'm just going to pull the trigger on yours to try it out because you reached out a little bit more
Hmm.
than everyone else did. So
Well, the thing about that is that this is the cart abandonment. So I put that $300 bag in the cart. That's
well, I
an
mean, customers
right.
are savvy too. Like, I think people
Sure.
do that to see if there's a coupon on the other side. So,
And I was going to get to that too. So if you're sending 3 emails, within 24 hours, that's when you can kind of do like the discount ladder. You know what I mean? It's like, I think, and you don't necessarily have to have like discounts to succeed. You know what I mean? But if this is like a first time buyer and they have the bag that's in the cart and it's $300, depending on your like way of discounting, if 15% is your max, but you're like real conservative with it, and it's like that third email, it's like, okay, for a limited time, 6 hours, 4 hours, whatever, you really put some urgency on that sucker. Here's 15% off. But you can kind of trinkle that within, a few emails within that 24 hours. And, you can really try and use that like urgency psychology with those discount codes. And then, you know what I mean? You have them as a buyer, like they've purchased, and then typically what's said is that it's easier to sell them more stuff since they've already purchased, right?
of
There's the
course.
upsell, the was it cross sell, upsell, stuff like that, and then later on down the road, kind of just depends on what other products that you have that could go with that bag, but um, that's an interesting thing. So yeah, any more thoughts on that?
Just that, like what you said, the cross sell, the upsell, like I really like those like one click upsells that like once
Hmm.
someone has purchased, like let's just use the $300 bag, since we're on that route, is like immediately after they purchase that bag, give them like 2 to 3 accessory items that are
Yeah.
like $20 or
Yeah.
so. And I bet you they purchase one of them
Oh
right
yeah.
there, click, purchase, done. Now
Yep.
your AOV's instead of 300, now it's 320,
Yep.
like just whatever. Cause I
Yep.
just think that that's like a huge opportunity for,
Yep. And what are your
you
thoughts
know,
on the discounts, having the discounts within that?
it's something to test. I mean, that's
Sure.
kind of where I'm at with most things. It's just like let's test it and see like, do we really need to discount within 24 hours with 3 emails? And like where are people converting? You know, maybe we don't even need to. Let's test. Maybe the discount ladder. Test doing the 3 emails within a day. Let's test like waiting till the third day
Hmm.
to give them the offer, and
Yeah.
where are they converting in all those tests. And because I mean, ideally, a brand would like to not have to discount, but if you've got some wiggle room in there, which I imagine with a $300 bag, you do,
Yeah.
you know, sure, like, yeah, I
Test it. Yeah.
think a discount makes sense. Yeah.
Because then let's say someone, because it's three, he has 3 emails within 24 hours, right? So it's like a 1 hour after they have triggered that abandoned cart, right? So they put it in their cart, 1 hour goes by, and then boom, they get that first email. It's like probably more of a reminder,
Reminder.
right?
Yeah.
And so then, could be 4 hours later, give or take 3, 4, 5 hours or whatever. And it's kind of saying, hey, here it is. Like this is where you could kind of start the discount ladder per se. So you could do like a 5 or a 10%. Most times like a 10%, right? And then that last that last maybe 4 hours of the 24 hours, you say, hey, you got 4 hours. Here's 20% off. Or the discount's going to whatever's expire, right? And so, but that'd be cool to test for sure. I think that, yeah, I think
I think one of the
that'd
other
be
things that I really like better than a discount too is like a gift with purchase.
those
Like
are good
if
too.
almost like that one click upsell thing. It's like if you took
Hmm.
that $20 item and maybe it cost you $5 to produce it, maybe instead of giving the 10% discount on a $300 item, so instead of giving $30 off,
Hmm.
you give them a $5 item that's worth 20,
Yeah,
and now you've given they basically have the opportunity to try two of your products and pay full price for one of them. So
yeah,
I think I like that route.
yeah. No, that actually sounds better. Yep, I think that's really cool. Um, and it's you're still offering value. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
and it helps them, get them over the edge, and then you still have some urgency on that. So yeah, what are the ones that you had?
I really liked that path that we just went down. I was going to start with just like talking about like the flows. We're kind of on the flows topic already, and then um, really kind of talking about what are it's like starting at the top. What are the most basic flows you need to have for your email channel? If you were brand new and you needed to start some flows, what would be the first like ones that you would set up?
My favorite one is the welcome flow. And not a welcome flow that has 2, 3 emails in there. I want to see, like, we have 7, right? I want to see at least 5. You know what I mean? I think that, and then back to Robert Allen, man, he says 10. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of miss opportunity when it comes, and I get it. Like, there, you're talking about a new platform. They might not have the resources or even like the knowledge to be able to go in there and bang out 10 emails for the welcome flow. But I would say that the welcome flow with at least 5 emails, and then you obviously want to have your abandonment series, right? Your browse, your cart, and your checkout. There is the active on site. I don't think that is as important, but the browse, which is viewed product, which is kind of the window shopper. Then you have your two checkouts, which you know as Klaviyo people, we know the difference. There's the checkout, there's the cart, but it's always the abandoned cart, and so it's weird that Klaviyo has that by default. You know what I mean? But the triggers are different, and it just shows the buyer in a different buying cycle, right? You have putting in the cart, which is kind of a little bit earlier, but then you have the checkout, which is further in the buying cycle. So then they're closer. They've already given you the information that they're ready to buy, but then it's just they got distracted. The baby started crying, whatever the case may be. Their husband started crying, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is. You know what I mean? It just shows that buying cycle that yeah. just the funnel of how it works. And so those are like, in my opinion, the core, you know, regardless of where you at. But to make them more advanced and make them more robust, that's like adding more, you know, emails to those. I really love the idea of having 10 emails in a welcome flow. I'm a brand guy, and so I really like speaking to that. And so, you know, we have like our advanced stuff where it's like you have your welcome flow with 7 emails, but what happens if someone doesn't purchase from that welcome flow? Well, then you go into an engagement flow and you have more content, right? You're really just nurturing them, right? Nurturing them. That's when you can probably add in like a discount code. So if your original is 10, you can bump it up to 15 or 20, or even what you were just saying earlier is have that gift with purchase is really a cool idea as well. So, but it's to not go too far into it. Yeah, I'd say welcome flow and the abandonment series for sure.
Yeah, I think the cart abandonment one is like a huge missed opportunity, and can't really like fault anyone that doesn't know anything about, you know, email marketing, or, you know, weird like Klaviyo guys. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Klaviyo gives you that started checkout one by default, which is a great one. But I think, you know, if you're just kind of like in the awareness stage, or just kind of, you
Yeah,
know, just checking things out, you may add it to cart just for fun, you know, and not really with the intent of purchasing it. I might go in there and just throw a few things in my cart just to do it. And then, like you said, get distracted. We all do.
yeah,
And then that thing, if it's just added to cart, the thing will never fire, because there's a little bit of like code that needs to be added in, but it's
sure.
like, man, that's like where, you know, not to toot our own horns, but like I think that's the value of having someone that
Yeah,
specializes in, you know, that email channel, because once it's set up for life. So what's that
yeah,
worth to you? You know, it's like, that thing runs forever and ever. And so many people will abandon the cart and not really make it to checkout. So,
yeah.
um, yeah. And I can tell that we work together, because you basically almost ran through all my other questions like right away. I
Oh
was just like,
man,
okay, he answered that one. Okay, he's answering this one now. Like,
oh man, I need to slow down, man. Yeah,
no,
sorry
you're
about that.
good. So the second one was what makes a good welcome flow versus a great welcome flow, which I think you kind of talked about, like 3 emails, okay, 5 emails, good, 7
Yeah,
emails or more, great welcome
yeah,
flow for sure.
yeah,
The next one was like talking about more of the advanced flows, which you kind of touched on, with like, you know, I think that's a really cool question, that if you asked a lot of brand owners or even email marketing people, it's like, what you know, what happens if someone doesn't purchase even after they've gone through the welcome flow? I
yeah,
think you'd probably stump quite a bit of people with that
yeah,
question.
yep.
And yeah, there's some really cool things that you can really do, and I think that's one of the things that separates kind of like a, you know, a good or an okay, you know, email marketing, you know, brand from like
Hmm.
a great one that knows
Yep,
about some of these more advanced things, and it's kind of been in this world for a little bit longer. So
yep. I have 2 of them that came to mind off of that. Is thinking about when someone goes to the website and we test different things for the pop-up, right? And so, you know, it doesn't capture every single body that goes to the website, right? So in that scenario, what happens if someone doesn't sign up to your sign you know, to your welcome flow? Someone's just like clicks away from it, right? You can set it to where it's like, you know, 14 days later it pops back up, or 7 days later it pops back up. You know, depends on how aggressive you want to be. But there are some simple strategies to be able to capture that, and that is the browse abandonment, the viewed product. So you can see people that are viewing that. You know what I mean? So not the actual flow itself, but the pop up, right? So then if someone goes to your product page and that exit intent, that's what I'm talking about. So it's like they skip that welcome flow pop up. They're like, nah, I don't want to sign up. I'm good. I'm going to go straight to the product. This is what I was looking for. My buddy told me about it. I go to the product. Damn, like he didn't tell me it was, $120. But then as soon as I leave, that exit intent pop up comes up. It's like, hey, here's, 10, 20, whatever percent off that thing. Then that is like that gives them an opportunity right then and there to to then sign up. So then you have them, but then you have them further into the buying cycle, right? They are interested. I know Ezra calls it the hot list, right? Which is a really cool way of thinking of it. It's like, okay, they're a lot warmer than someone that just, you know, signed up for the welcome flow. So I like that. I think that's a really cool way of, you know, making sure, because there's all kinds of just leaky, like a store is so leaky. It's a leaky boat. There's leaks everywhere in an e-commerce store. So, and I know that, you know, I think kind of on a tangent, the experience, we were talking about this earlier today, the experience of some stores, man, they're clunky. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to do this to do that. And then like, where do I put the discount code? They gave me a code, where I put it at. Then I got to go over here. Oh, that's where you put it at. It's just, you know, and that's kind of outside the email stuff, but I think that's like really important as well. You know, I think email is like to get them to that website. You know, it's like, cool, I'm excited. I'm inspired to click through to the website. And then they land on the website, then it's like kind of a mess. The experience is not fun. It's clunky. It's like, well, then that's why you're not making any sales.
Yeah, I think I had two thoughts, and one of them, the first one was like that the spin the wheel sign up form came to mind,
Yeah.
and I think that was like everyone thinks that one is like engaging and fun, and I'm sure it is, but like I'm rarely seeing like a brand that's used that one, and like the people that come join your email list from those things are
Mm-hmm.
like just like trash, honestly, is the best way to put it, just because they don't care. They literally
Yeah.
just came for a discount,
Mm-hmm.
and if they didn't get it, they're out, you
Yeah.
know. And so I just thought that was funny, because those
Yeah.
things, every time I see them, I'm just like, oh no, not this.
And they're kind of ugly. They're off brand. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care for them. But you know, hey, if a brand was like, test it, I'd like, shit. Okay, let's test it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'm down with testing stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
sure.
You know what I mean? I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like one day we'll be
Well, I
the
think the
Elon Musk.
deceitful part of that too is like that you would probably get more people to sign up for your list from that spin the wheel versus like a regular sign up, because
Sure.
it is kind of like fun and
Sure.
gamified. But again, like on the back end of that, like those people are hardly
Right.
ever going to convert. You know, such a
Yeah.
low percentage of them actually are. So
I think
um,
to help to fix that is to have like the sign up forms be more conversational. You know what I mean? I went to one because I'm going to websites, all like stores all the time, and there was a baby brand. It was, I forget the name of the brand, but it was like, was it when you coddle a baby? It's like like
Swaddler,
huh?
Swaddle.
Swaddle, not coddle, swaddle. But it was like this like thing that you wear and you tuck your baby in there, and like the pop up asked me, it was like three questions, like, am I expecting? Am I already a mother? Or is this a gift? And I thought that was really smart of them to be able to just right out of the gate, you know, get some information. And at the same time, I think that's a really good, like for that brand, it works because I don't think the price point was like so ridiculous, but I think that makes sense because that's a really specific product. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of baby shower goers would that's like kind of that round.
Hmm.
So I think that was really popular, like really important to ask that question on that pop up. So
Cool. Yeah, that was the kind of my next point that we were moving to. It's just like that first party data, being able to get
yep.
information from your, you know, person, prospect, customer, whatever it is, like as soon as you can, you know, like even if it is like in the exit intent or whatever it is, like asking them questions, getting their feedback, because I personally think this could be a whole nother conversation for another time, is the segmentation thing. I think segmentation is like heavily underutilized
Hmm.
and underserved, and people think it's like overrated and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't think people are really using it to its full extent. Like they're not really
Hmm.
thinking it through. But yeah, and I mean, obviously
Yeah.
that's like a huge area of opportunity if you're getting first
Hmm.
party data to leverage it inside your segmentation.
That's the thing. I think that it can be like Yeah, I'm with you on that because like I do feel like some of the segmentation can be overrated. I think a lot of like, especially I see it on Twitter. A lot of the like gurus on Twitter will call out segmentation on like and like they use it as like kind of like a lead magnet to get people in. I see a lot, but like, do you actually know? Like I've seen this multiple times, and like segmentation is literally they'll make it sound all nice and fancy when they literally just took the same segmentation off of the Klaviyo website and just kind of packaged it in their own little form. So,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of where the it's like it's maybe it's like just not like explained properly. But to your point, I like the idea of gathering more information because that's like what Klaviyo's whole thing is that it's a customer, what do they call it? I can't, I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's just a data platform, a customer data, a CDP, and that's really what it boils down to is getting as much information from these people that are landing on your website, and then you can segment smartly. But like these gurus on Twitter, they're just saying like really basic stuff that it's just like it's just they're just repeating the same stuff over and over. And I think that there's more to the conversation when it comes to segmentation, and that's it. It's gathering data then to be able to segment that. So yeah.
Yeah. My last question is kind of like maybe a good wrapping up one. It's just like more of like a future based, like what are you excited about now, or what's the future of email? What's the future of like, I guess maybe something coming up down the pipeline that you're like excited about, whether it relates to email or just marketing or anything.
Um, I Man, there's so much that comes to mind. I'm excited, like
Typical visionary.
right? I'm excited to keep sharpening my axe, really. You know what I mean? Like there's
Sure.
like Black Friday, Cyber Mondays coming up, and I don't think of like products like stuff. I think of courses, right? I'm always like looking at these courses that for education purposes that a company can purchase for the team, and so
Hmm.
so there's like a few like e-commerce courses that I have my eye on that I want to learn more about e-commerce. So then, because I want to put myself in the shoes of an e-commerce brand owner, CMO, director of e-commerce. I want to put myself in their shoes, but then
Hmm.
also have that email SMS understanding and just kind of connect the two and be able to really understand what it means to do email. And I think that one of them is like the retention marketing. You know what I mean? I think retention marketing is really important when it comes to as a whole, because you have like customer service, you have your rewards program, but you also have like email and SMS, which is really important for retention as well. So I would say always sharpening my axe is what I'm like excited about. But just like repetition, just getting more clients and just helping more people. You know what I mean? I want to just do more so I can learn more and just be better. You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's basically
I
what
think
I'm
that like
at.
highlights and summarizes a lot of the visionary integrator stuff really well, because it was like in our L10 this week, we're like, all right, here's like a list of courses that we really want to take. I mean, we
Hmm.
would take them all right now,
Right.
like super down. But then I took it upon myself to like, okay, let's list them all out. Like, which ones
Uh-huh.
would we get first? Like, I
Yep.
totally like we did that
Yeah.
this week. So that's
This is
really
good.
really
It's
super
good. It's
fun.
like I threw the idea out there. I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm looking at. I know that some of these courses are going to be, really affordable.
Yeah,
If we can get one, let's get one. You know what I mean?" And you're like, "Cool, let's do it. Let's like write it out." So that's how it works. The rocket fuel for
exactly.
your stuff. So, what about you? You gonna answer the same question?
Sure. What am I excited about? I, it's been a while since I've heard it and looked more into it, but like it's always stays in the back of my mind. And I found out about it through like Chase Diamond, of course, because he's
Hmm.
like the emo guru of our space. But was basically like this thing called like AMP, and it's
Oh,
like,
dude, that's so funny you say that because I was gonna say that, but I don't know a whole lot on it, so that I didn't mention it. But
yeah.
yeah, go for it.
And I mean, I've looked into it a few times, and it almost, to me, it gives me, it almost feels like
Yeah.
Web3, you're just some kind of whole new universe that you're trying to wrap your head around. But I mean, the simplest way to put it for anyone that's new to it would be like being able to like shop inside of an email instead of having to go to the website, which I think is basically like check out through an email. Like, I would imagine like if we recommended specific products, you would be able to literally like just buy it right inside of the email. Kind of
Right.
like how we, sometimes you'll get review requests for products you've already bought, and you can basically kind of hit the 4, 5, 10 stars, whatever, how many stars you want to leave, and then leave a comment right inside the email without having to go to another platform for it. So I just think that's a
Yeah.
really cool opportunity.
So you would say it's like the email is like a mini store. It's the
Yeah, there you
store
go.
in the email, right? That's kind of.
Nice.
I went to amp.dev. I don't know if this is it or not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm not even like. Yeah, this is. It's. I think this might be it, but like, I don't know. But I like the idea, and I definitely want to get more on board on this concept, and I'd be interested to try and find some brands that are actually utilizing this and actually go through the process and see what it feels like, looks like, smells like,
Yeah.
tastes
The
like.
other one is like, I'm not versed on this one very much either, but I mean, it's something that they've tested out before and didn't get like a ton of traction. But I think like in 5 to 10 years, it could be like the standard, which is basically just like live streaming shopping experiences, is kind of how they refer to it, where you're basically like live streaming, showing your products, and people inside this that are live streaming with you, that are viewing it, can actually shop your products like right then and there. So I think it does
That's
well in
cool.
some other countries, and they
Hmm.
tested it here. But yeah, I could definitely see, especially as like the younger generations, like Gen Z and stuff, like grow up. I mean, they've always had phones. They're like
Hmm.
super mobile, friendly, and they respond really well to it. So I think that's going to be
Yeah.
like a really big one.
And when
Yeah.
you mean by that, it's like streaming. It's kind of like a QVC kind of thing. Is that kind of
That's
like
kind of, it's funny you say that. That's basically how they refer to it. It's basically like
okay,
a new age 21st century QVC. I mean,
okay,
just like you do like Facebook Live, Instagram
sure,
Live, it's like, it'd be like that. Only
yeah.
like people would have direct access to your products right there too.
It's funny because I saw Poopery on QVC the other day at my mom's
Oh,
house. So
wow.
I was like, oh shit, QVC, like, that's a powerful platform for sure, QVC.
Yeah.
That also reminds me of, you know, not trying to go into it, but like the NFT world, but then like not necessarily NFTs, but like the virtual world. Yeah, not NFT, not that's not what I'm saying, but more of the virtual world.
Like
So you can go in
Web3
there,
and
Web
metaverse.
three stuff. So you can actually put on a headset, go into Foot Locker, and pick up a pair of shoes, and then like try them on, kind of thing. But I don't know as far as how that works. Like my brain just stops there. But like I can see, like fake shoes, just like looking at them, right? And then you can just like buy them right there, and then they'll show up to your house. So I can kind of see that kind of coming up as well. And then
Definitely.
I also heard that there was like some sort of like scan where you can go in there and it's like you literally try on the clothes and you can kind of see what you would look like with the clothes on. So that'd be kind of cool. So
Yeah, that would be, especially you would have to have like your body dimensions and stuff for it to
right,
really
it
make
like
sense, but I don't see
right,
why not.
yeah, it scans your body and like you're rocking this cool Hawaiian shirt and you're just like, damn, this thing looks cool, bro. You know what I mean? I'd like to film like someone in virtual mode and just like watch them just like check themselves out. And they're just like, oh yeah, flexing and stuff. But it's just like, yeah. Um, but yeah, man, no, that's cool. Those are some cool questions. Good stuff, man. But yeah, we are at right on the dot, 1 hour. So um,
Cool.
we'll wrap it up, and we will, yeah, leave the comments if you have any questions. If you want us to talk about some other stuff, And then also tell your friends, tell your mama, and then subscribe, do the thing. And yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah. See
Yeah.
you later, everybody.
Later, later. Peace.